Good evening. I would like to call the Satsuma City Council meeting to order for our regular meeting of June the 2nd, 2026. We have several people here tonight. Some of you are regulars, some of you are first-time members. We always start our meetings, we call it to order, then we have invocation, it's followed by the pledge, and we alternate that. So real quickly, if you would, if you have a phone, please turn it to silent or off so it will not disrupt the meeting, because we do have a lot of people here. I think we don't want to interrupt anybody while they're trying to speak. We always alternate who gives the invocation, which we follow that with the pledge. Tonight is Councilman Jake O'Rear's time. So if you would, please remove your hat and stand, please.
God, we thank you for the day and the opportunity to gather and serve our community. I ask for your wisdom and patience as we discuss matters for our citizens tonight. Help us listen with open minds and speak with respect and make thoughtful decisions, our best decision of all of our citizens. Pray for those that's been impacted by the recent flooding and ask for your guidance as we work towards solutions. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. O'Rear. Jessica, get a roll call, please.
Councilmember Little.
Present.
Councilmember O'Rear.
Here.
Councilmember Skelton. Councilmember Presnell.
Here.
Councilmember Taylor.
Here.
Mayor Barlow.
Here, please let the record reflect all of the council members here with the exception of Mr. Skelton, also those department heads, yourself, and the city attorney, who are all in attendance for the meeting tonight. Moving to number 4 on our agenda tonight is for the approval of our agenda. It was emailed to all the council members last Friday. If there's any add-ons or deletions, we can make them now. If not, I'd like to get a motion to approve the agenda as distributed.
I make a motion we approve the agenda as distributed.
Second.
A motion made by Mr. President, all second by Mr. Taylor. We'll approve tonight's agenda as distributed. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Along with the email should have been the minutes you received last Friday from our past council meeting. Have y'all had a chance to review the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting, May the 12th.
Second.
A motion made by Mr. Little, seconded by Mr. O'Rear. To approve the minutes as distributed. Are there any questions? If none, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay. Going to number 6 tonight, it was recognitions. There are none on the agenda, so we'll move on.
Mayor, you got the minutes from the workshop.
Okay, I'm sorry, I skipped over approval of the workshop meetings from May the 14th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second. Quick enough.
Yeah, that was quick on the draw there, Mr. Taylor. On a motion made by Mr. O'Rear and seconded by Mr. Taylor to approve our workshop minutes. Are there any questions on it? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay, now we'll move to number 6, recognitions, and there are none listed tonight for anything. Okay, I think for the reason most of you are here tonight, it's probably going to be regarding the heavy rains that we received Friday a week ago and some of the aftermath of the rain this we've experienced. So in a minute, I'm going to open the floor for public comments for visitors. And since there were so many people, we generally ask that you get on the list prior to the meeting so we know what the question, what you maybe approach for, so we can try to research it and provide an answer if possible on the night of the council meeting. Tonight, so many people were coming up, probably we would have had to stop a lot of people from speaking, so we will open the floor. When we call you up, please just give your name and your address, because we have to be able to identify who makes the statements to track, because we do keep records of what's being said and we'll try to answer your question. So by knowing who you are and where you live, it will provide us a little better chance to answer the question. So with that being said, anyone wishing to come before the council, please come forward, state your name and your address, and try to keep your comments to around 3 minutes, and certainly at 5 minutes, we will, try to speed up in order to get everybody here. Looks like we have the first gentleman coming up, sir. Please come on.
My name is Charlie Williams. I live at 5492 3rd Street. And several years ago, I was part of the planning board with a 8-inch rain flood that flooded 3rd Avenue,
Yes, sir.
3rd Street. This time, the pumping station ceased to work, and I had fluid from the sewer that into my master bathroom and my hall bathroom. I had to remove carpet. I have pictures and everything, and I went to the water department and talked to the supervisor, and he told me to get with my insurance, and on my declaration, it has flooding, but it does not have sewer protection. And so that's the reason I'm here. I need my flooring replaced.
Okay. Mr. Williams, the first thing I would do is, I apologize for any problems that you had, but you'll need to make sure that you take some photographs, that you well document
I have.
what happened, so that we can look into it. You will need to contact your insurance company. The water board issues will be handled by the water board. We will have that meeting next Monday night, next door.
Okay.
And we're trying to separate what was flood damage, this drainage issues we're handling here at the city. Some of those issues we have will be handled at the water board. So if you can, bring that and come next Monday night to see us at the water board, and I'm sure there'll be a few people
Okay.
that's
Thank
there
you, sir.
regarding those. And I know that you're talking about the lift station back here, what we
Yes.
call the stadium lift station.
All right,
we
thank you,
refer
sir.
to. Thank you, it was nice seeing you. Sir, please come on up, Mr. Lundy.
Good evening, y'all.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Richard Lundy. I live at 5496 7th Street. And my house did not flood, thank God. It was close to it. It was about a quarter, maybe less than a quarter of an inch for coming in the front door. But this is the second time in probably 15 years, 10 to 15 years that this has happened. And the last time it happened, it was due to the door being open, the gate on Orchard open when it wasn't supposed to be. What I was told by the last council at that time. They got the project done where everything was supposed to flow down the west side of the railroad tracks all the way down to the creek and then cross under there. And that gate would not be open. Well, and it didn't that time. There still was so bad a rain, we still got water. But anyway, this time, it was open. And I know it was to help people on Orchard. But it also, it was hurting people over on 7th and Maple and all that. But anyhow, we had a lot of rain. And I know it's not much that the city can do about it, but something's got to be done with some drainage. I think everybody here is, you know that, everybody knows that. And, but I feel bad for all these people that had flood damage. I didn't have any, and thank God, but if any of y'all need anything, my name's Richard Lundy, I'll help you any way I can. But, if, just can not open that gate no more. Cause, it flooded Miss Little's place over there. Well, it didn't get to her house, but it got, I had 8 inches of water coming across 7th Street. And it was over knee deep in my front yard. You know it, you've seen it when you drove by. And, but and we have water under our back porch over 4 inches deep. Never had that before. Scared us to death. But anyhow, I just wanted to come up and talk for some of the people and talk for ourselves, my neighbors, and everybody around us. Thank y'all, appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lundy. I'm glad it didn't get in your house, like I said, and we do understand, and we discussed this with some of them last night. By moving the water, getting it under the railroad tracks more quickly right in that area will put more water, like you said, on 6th, 7th Street and Maple, where it's getting dangerously close to some of those houses also. But thank you for your comments.
One more question, is when the sump pond over there on Baker, are them gates open or closed, left closed until after the rain is over, or are they left open to flow out?
Those gates are not totally closed, but they are pretty, usually when we just leave it sitting there, the gates are kind of, I guess you'd call them maybe 3/4, 7/8 of the way closed. They are not open, even halfway.
Well, I mean, I understand what the pond is for. Is there any way, I mean, can we just leave the gates closed? It's a big enough pond, I believe it can hold a good amount of water until after the rain is over with and things have gone down, then slowly open them and let the water run out. I mean, I'm not an engineer, far from it, but I'm not a dumb person either.
Well, talking with some of the people here, and we do have one of our engineering firms here tonight to listen to some of the comments. I mean, you know, years ago when we first started that, we thought by creating the first pond, it would help, and then the second pond, and then going back and expanding the original one that we were addressing the issues. And I do think it has helped, but the continued development over that way and the water getting to the railroad tracks is acting as a dam is continuing to cause problems. I mean, we know that, and I feel like it'll come up later in our conversation tonight. I mean, I don't know if we can run the water north along the railroad tracks to try to get it to the head of Steel Creek.
Right.
You know, that may be an option. I mean, it's gonna be quite a ways we gotta clear out, but we've done it before. It may, you know, be something we have to undertake another
Yes, sir.
project. Good deal.
Thank y'all. Appreciate everything y'all did. Appreciate y'all out roaming around and looking out for the citizens. And
Okay.
thank you again.
Thank you, Mr. Lundy. Next, Mr. Ms. Spotswood, well, Mr. and Ms. Spotswood, I see both of you are coming, approaching.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Is the sound working? Okay. My name is Lavinia Spotswood, and my husband Ron Spotswood. We live at 150 Bow Avenue East here in Satsuma. We're here to share something that's I think is very unusual for our area. We had a sewer backup. The sewer backed up into our tub, about 6 inches in the first bathroom. Before we saw it, it flooded over, seeped down the hallway into the bedrooms, and down into the shower portion, it was filled completely up with sewage. Now, we're thinking, now I was here whenever the sewage was put in, that was 1968. I remember how we struggled to put it in. But what I want to address tonight, and we've already talked to the water board, we've talked to Colin, and we will be there on the 8th to also present other things. But what I want to do tonight is to let y'all know really where we stand on the sewage. I'm very concerned. Something did not work right that night. We don't know what it is. We want to find out what it is so it won't happen again. So,
as she said, something went wrong that night. Mark, you were there, you saw what we had.
Yes, sir, I did.
Usually our water, when it rains real hard, will come up and we always sweat. It's gonna come in the back door. It didn't ever come in the back door. And she was all ready to serve my dinner, and I says, I hear something down the hall. I go down there and it was flooded. The bathtub had 6 inches of water in it. Well, we've got a step-in shower, we'll need to say, it overflowed. When you had came out and looked at it, and I don't know, maybe you're the man with you or someone, maybe it's the head of the water department when he came out a couple of days ago, because we had a little heated discussion about it. First off, oh, maybe you got roots in your system, so it overflowed. And after a little arguing, he says, you know how I know that this system's working? I says, no, how? He says, because water flows through it. Exact words. I says, well, mine must really work good, because mine will go back uphill too then. So my line's got to be clear. Needless to say, and by the way, nobody seems to know which pump station is pumping our home, whether it covers everything or what. The home behind me was about 250 foot behind us. I have a garden back there, and he's on 2nd Street. He's lower than I am, because the water goes down 2nd Street, so we know it's lower. They heard gurgling, and they heard everything else. But in the whole process, I was kind of like told, well, Bing's, it's roots. I'm thinking, well, you know, we did have our lines cleaned. In fact, we pulled a receipt. It was about 8 months ago.
About 8 months ago, we had it cleared.
Had a plumber out for other problems. I says, run the line through it, make sure it's clear. I want to know from the city and the water board, I have not got any answers. When do you do inspections? My wife's lived here all her life. We've lived in that home 15 years. I have never, to this day, seen a man cover off with somebody running a camera down. Has anyone in here seen that?
Yes.
You have? And how long
Okay,
ago
hey, Mr. Spotswood, please address your questions up here now so we can move on, because
right.
we're already getting dangerously
Okay,
time.
I'd like a report
Yes.
from the city.
Okay, the water board, those issues will be handled Monday night, and I know that y'all are coming and you're on the
We
agenda.
will be there, and I want some answers from them.
Okay,
Okay.
the lift stations, we had several. The cause of the lift stations having the problem is the water getting into the system. We had, I think, 12 of the systems were in overload after the rain. So the systems, until we got some bypass pumps in, there was some backup. And unfortunately, I'm not an expert on that, but we do and we can document that we have run cameras in the lines, and we do.
In the last, how many years, do you have any idea?
Well, certain areas where the problems are is usually where we go. We don't go
Okay.
throughout the whole system everywhere.
Okay.
But yes, we do have one new lift station that just came on, and we are currently working, and we have been way before this started, to make some improvements and run some additional lines and add another lift station here.
Well, we will be out of our house for a duration for them to replace the flooring. Now, if we replace the flooring, estimated to be $15,000 to $18,000, well then, and then we don't resolve this problem, you know, we'll have to resolve it one way or the other. Something's gonna have to give, because, I mean, there's an obstruction, I believe, in that line marked somewhere. And it just needs to be located, because it's gonna happen again. Because y'all know the weather's gotten bad.
It's not gonna get any better.
Not gonna get any better, just anticipate that. And just put yourself in our shoes, and I know
We
you
do.
have, but I think we just need to have awareness of the sewage within our city. It's not gonna get any better.
You're
Thank
right, and
y'all.
I understand y'all have asked other questions about the stations and what improvements could be
Yeah.
made to increase the capacity in these type instances.
We could see the water coming up in the shower area, coming up, and then it would go back down. It would come up and it would go back down. So that tells us that there was some activity somewhere going on on the lift station.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
but that didn't resolve the fact that it went all through my house.
Right. Regarding the same thing I told Mr. Williams, please make sure you keep good notes, photographs, the same thing I've told you. Come Monday night, because that issue there is not actually the drainage.
I'm
Okay?
sorry, I didn't
That,
understand.
the issue you're talking about is not related to the drainage, that is the water sewer
Yes,
there. We will address that there.
okay,
Thank
I
y'all.
hope we don't have to come back next year with the same problem.
Well, I'm sorry it happened to you, Mr. Spotswood. Okay, yes, ma'am, please state your name.
I'm Sylvia Orso. I live at 5562 Orchard Street in Satsuma. I have
Give me that
lived
address again, please.
5562 Orchard Street,
Okay,
Satsuma. Me and my husband has lived there 23 years. In the time that we've lived there, we've seen our neighbors flood several times, 6, 7, 8 times. When we built our home, we built it up high, more dirt at it. And unfortunately, we were not flooded when those neighbors flooded. But last Friday was our lucky day. We got flooded. Master bathroom, master bedroom, sewage came up into my bathtub too, about 6 inches. My grandchildren's bedroom got flooded. It came up on the patios, up on my carport. It was like a river. You could get in a kayak and go down the street. But when we first moved there, we asked the real estate company that sold us our property, is this a flood zone? No, no flood zone. All right, I went over and met my neighbors when we moved in. She lived kind of catty-corner across the street. She told me she had been flooded 17 times since her and her husband had built that house on Orchard Street. They sold that house. The people stayed in there a year and a half. It came a rainstorm, it flooded them. All right, these people moved in and bought it, these recent people. He got 4 inches up in the same house again. And it just demolished his house. And our neighbor, Mr. Bill, him and his wife got water damage the first time too. And I know it's a drainage problem. I know it is because like I said, I've lived there 23 years. I've observed. And so I was just wondering about the same thing about the drainage because we're in the process of getting our home fixed. We did have flood insurance, thank God. And we're going to get our home fixed. And but I don't want it to happen again. And you know, that's my home, but it won't ever feel like my home again, ever, from this. It just won't, because it's damaged and it just won't feel the same to me. And I understand y'all are trying to work problems out and get problems solved and everything too, but that don't help everybody on that street at the moment, you know, and all those people, a lot of them don't have flood insurance. They wasn't as lucky as us. You know, that's gotta come out of their pocket. And that's all I got to say.
I'm very sorry, and unfortunately, we did last Friday, a week ago, have some houses that had damage that we've never had flooding before. I mean,
That was mine,
you know, I mean,
yeah.
I know you don't want to hear it, but there was a tremendous amount of rainfall in a short amount of time, and it overwhelmed the system there. And so do we have to make plans and adjust for it? Yes. So, you know, I'm hoping and praying that we don't have another one like that
Me
until
too.
we can get something done.
Me too.
Because that area over there does kind of catch everything. I mean, you got the
It-
two roads,
it
Baker and
does.
Bayou, that kind of act as a dam along with the railroad track, and it just traps so much water coming through there. And I feel like the only answer is going to be if we can perhaps work with the railroad to get an easement, getting that ditch cut back down to the head of Steel Creek there. Because, you know, the answer a lot of people don't want to hear right here tonight is we cannot, in those situations, put more water on 6th, 7th, Maple,
I
Bayou. I
understand.
mean, we like to blue the intersection out at Bayou and 6th, for some of you that have looked at that, where we've been repairing that. I mean, the ditches went straight over that, even over the roads. I mean,
Well, I'm just like everybody else. I'm a concerned citizen of Satsuma. We like living in Satsuma. My husband was born and raised in Saraland in Satsuma.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's his roots. He loves it over here. He was the one that found the property and the land and wanted to build there.
Well, I'm very sorry that happened, and I promise you we'll do something. I don't know if we can do it immediately or not, but we will
All right.
soon be working on something.
Okay, thank you. Thank you
Sorry.
very much.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Strange, I think you've been trying to get up for the last few minutes, please.
Yes, my name is Kendra Strength. I live at 517 South Oak Drive, Satsuma. Our drainage issue started with the putting in of the water in the sewer. I called numerous times and spoke with Chris Bowden concerning that because the ditches were not graded back to the same level they were. They're filled in now all along Satsuma Oaks and also on the service road. That's one problem. The ditch at the west end of Satsuma Oaks, the water that the sewer, and when they put the sewer and water in, they redid the culverts. The culverts are huge. All the water from West Oak is tunneling through there and all the way on both sides of Satsuma Oaks. And then it goes to a ditch that has trees in it and is grown up that goes all the way down, as you said yesterday, all the way down behind that acreage on Oak Ridge is being cut and to Bayou Sarah. However, that ditch has not been cleaned out in the 30 years that I've been living there.
Strength, I told you what I know yesterday of that. I know that the natural water flows over that way where you're talking about from the going west, which is very unusual in Satsuma. Almost everywhere else we have problems with it trying to go east. It goes west until it picks up a natural kind of area, but it's not an area that we have ever had to clean ditches. I mean, it's not anything there. There's an oil well on the other side of Baker Road, which is on the west side of that ditch, but the ditch goes back under Baker Road, which, like you said, then snakes on through behind Higgins Road, goes under I-65, comes back out over behind the Little Pine subdivision and runs down into the head of Bicera.
We did not have any of these problems until they put in the water and sewer and tunneled all that water. They're also pulling water now from down where the canal is coming back south. So we've got all the water going to that area and it has nowhere to go because the ditches are clogged up. So number one, solution would be to get back there and clean those out. If the drainage plan for Satsuma, and according to Mr. Peterson, who was the one that put in the water and sewer, he says there's no drainage plan for Satsuma is what he told me. He says how the natural water goes, nobody's keeping that up, and that's part of the problem.
But Ms. Strength, that is a large wooded area over there where we have not maintained. There's been no residents over there. And to my knowledge, we did not have any reports of flooding in the Satsuma Oaks area over there last week.
It went in
I know
her
that we had
house.
water that stood in some of the yards over there, but we
I
had water
had
that stood
no
in several.
dry land in my yard. It got up, I had on my hunting boots, the water went over my hunting boots in my yard. It has never done that in 30 years. I had to turn off my power to my pool pump because it was less than an inch away from it, because the water's not draining anywhere. It did this a while back, not as bad, but it's because of all the overgrowth, the people moving in further down to the canal. Y'all are allowing them to bring lots of dirt in and fill in, and there's nowhere for that water to go because that ditch that takes that water out has not been maintained. So that needs to be done. That cutting of the clear cutting on Oak Ridge, that is causing a lot of problems and is going to cause a lot more. According to the rules and regulations for cutting and tree removal, there has to be permits for removing a tree. There's got to be erosion and sediment control plan. There has to be that tissue to prevent the silt from running. It has to be a drainage plan for that property, and they are just wiping it clean. There's they've put the flags up to cut up to my backyard, and there's nothing thing, no silt plans for them to prevent it from running?
There has been some tree cutting over there in a wooded area. When you brought this to our attention, wanting us to document what was going on, we started doing that. But until we can talk with the property owner or the person cutting it, I don't want to say a whole lot more about that. And I don't know about us having the right-of-way or just going in an area where we do not have access to the ditches. That case that you're talking about is not like some of them. These other people, there's ditches that we have been maintaining and that we're trying to drain the water. That area over there is nothing that I've ever been familiar with, us in that wooded area working to try to drain that.
I've been
But
talking to
there's never been
Chris for 2
complaints.
years.
Chris hasn't worked for us for 2 years. I do know that you
Two
mentioned this to
Christmases
Ms.
ago,
to Mr.
that's who I
Peterson,
was talking
who
to, was
spoke to
Chris.
me once before about you complaining about the ditches
Mm-hmm.
when the sewer, the water and sewer was installed in the Satsuma Oaks subdivision. I know that you voiced concerns about that.
Because
to
I
them.
spent 2 weeks digging out the ditch in front of my house to the end of Satsuma Oaks, so the water would flow because they had filled the ditches in with the dirt. So that's a
And if
problem.
you go to the end of the road, I think you'll look and see where we have cut down there, and we did do ditch work, and like you even mentioned, I think said some large culverts were installed down at the end where we did try to work and take the water, especially that coming off of, what would be West Oak over toward North Oak to drain back and go
But
under.
that's that going west, there's nowhere for it to go with that ditch all, it's overgrown, trees are in it. And the
Okay.
drainage coming
Yes,
off of
ma'am.
the service road, if you go look right now, the first one has a tire and wood and debris. The second one draining Satsuma Oaks on the service road, the water's just sitting in, it's not moving. It's been there all week.
When we
Those are
did the
not being
paving of
cleaned.
the service road, we did do some ditch work over there. That would be, starting about where you turn back on South Oak, going back down to where it goes across, where we have the culverts crossing, what used to kind of look like the pond area before you get to the CC Trail, just past Regina. So if you'll look, there has been ditch work on the service road done.
But I'm talking about at the beginning of the service road, those three that drains is supposed to go on the interstate and come back out over
So
here
you're talking
going,
about as soon as you turn
Yeah.
off of,
yes.
Baker
They
Road
are all
onto the service
clogged
road.
up, yes.
okay, if you're asking us to clean those, we can certainly attempt
Yes.
to do that.
And check on that clear cutting.
We've already working on that. Please put that on the list, checking the culverts on those. Yes, ma'am, we know who owns the property. Yes, ma'am, but thank you.
So we will get answers to this, all these situations that are occurring when?
Okay, you asked me just last night.
know.
We've already worked on trying to
Okay.
find out who it is that's cutting the property. We're making progress on that. You asked me about working on some culverts along the first few houses. Yes, we are working.
Okay.
And we have been, with a vac truck trying to do some of the culverts. But there again, I'm not going to promise you that if we have that type downpour again, that we won't see problems somewhere else, because I'm telling you, we've seen problems that we need to work on there that we had never had before. I mean, it's, you know, I'm telling you, it was a massive amount. Like you said, not only did it hit the city and impact it, it affected the water and our stormwater runoff and everything, so. But yes, ma'am, thank you again for coming up. Okay, I'm sorry we went a little longer than the 3 minutes anticipated there. Please come up, sir. Give your name and your address.
Lewis Knoll. I live at 5555 Magnolia Avenue, almost right on the corner of Orange and Magnolia.
Okay,
At the corner of my property, there's a cross drain that goes under the road,
okay,
and the cross drain's too small. It needs to be upsized, and where it drains back over to Orange Avenue,
right.
some of that needs to be opened up right there, because I did get a room flooded this time, and about a year and a half ago, we had another bad rain. I got flooded then too. I worked for the county for 28 years. I did 5 years in bridge and drainage construction. And what I'm looking at from my experience, we need to open some ditches, need to get some great alls and some dump trucks. And I hate to say it, some of these folks with these pretty yards, some of the driveways needs to be opened up. But right there, that culvert is not taking the water.
Are we referring, just so I'll make sure that I understand what you're talking about, the culvert running under Orange there at Magnolia?
No,
That
I'm
feeds
running-
into that?
When you're on Magnolia,
Okay,
I'm the second house from Orange,
okay,
and it's at the corner of my property.
okay,
Believe me, I had no yard. All I had was water.
yes. I see
The inlet box,
your house, is
water-
the second one, if you turn off of Orange, second driveway on the left. Is
well,
that correct?
technically it'd be the first driveway because the
The house
one,
facing the corner is.
it faces
they use-
Orange.
Yeah, but they park on
Yeah,
Magnolia.
well,
side.
I'm the next one.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
And that cross drain at the corner of my property, like I said, it's too small. It doesn't handle the water that's coming through there. And it backs up, not only in my yard, it backs all the way up the street. The street looks like a river.
Magnolia was covered there.
But the drainage pipe that goes under the road is too small. It needs to be upsized, maybe to a 24-inch arch pipe. Believe me, I didn't come in here not knowing some things about maintenance. I've done it
Well, I mean, I've.
for 28 years.
Right, and I'm, to respond from the council, I mean, I wish that if we could go on back 40 or 50 years ago, that we would've had a lot bigger culverts put, especially down near the water, because you're right, I mean, that's,
And you know,
That
the
would
river
certainly
didn't
help
come
when we-
up, so there was water, there was places for the water to go. It never made it to the bridge down there on Orange Avenue. It never came over the bridge. And we're at 50-foot elevation from the bridge back up the road. I
don't know if we-
believe that could be resolved.
I don't know if we're quite that high, but it's
It's pretty
definitely, it's,
substantial.
I'm familiar with the bridge there, yes, sir.
And like I said, it's not something that I haven't dealt with. And I believe that if nothing else, they could apply to FEMA or to the federal government to get some drainage grants to where we could go in there and redo some of these pipes and redo some of this drainage. I know this is a small city. It doesn't have a lot of revenue. But there are grants that the federal government gives that gives you the opportunity to do these things. Talking to one in the environmental department, I worked with a lot of grants. That big pier down there at Chickasaw at the boat launch, that's a federal grant, put all that in. I know, because I was working in the department that gave it
Okay.
for the county. So they went through the county to get these grants. And there are ways to get money to help resolve some of these issues. I know the city doesn't have a lot of money, but I understand also that the government will give you an opportunity to apply for grants. If you don't apply, you're not gonna get them.
We are constantly exploring ways to get grants here, and yes, there are multiple federal agencies that you got to be specific on what you ask for. But some of these problems here, we wouldn't have known exactly how to ask for because we had not seen these problems before.
Well,
So we have made notes, we've got photographs up here, we've made videos, so we can document some of these things. And I appreciate your comment. We will check that drain to make sure that it is functioning, although it may not be to the level you would like it to, but we do need to make sure. And sometimes some of the, as you said, things naturally wash into the ditches sometimes. Culverts do get stopped up. We don't always know. And when we see these type things, sometimes it identifies where their problems are at.
I agree.
Put that on the list and make sure that it's checked, please, to blow out. You know what I'm talking about? Okay.
Well, I appreciate
That does.
y'all's time.
Thank you, Mr. Knoll. Okay.
Y'all have a blessed
You have a good night. Thank you.
Yes, sir, you too.
Okay. I don't think the little one likes the talking of the ditches again tonight.
Josh
Please.
Field, 13 Briarwood Lane.
Yes, sir, Mr. Jeff. How are you?
All right. Fortunately enough, our house didn't flood. We were blessed. Not too lucky as a lot of other people here. And anyone needs any help, I'll be glad to help as well. Really just wanted to come before the council and really say that I appreciate and I applaud the eagerness and willingness of the city to jump into action and kind of do what they can to help dissipate the water and help the people that weren't as fortunate as we were. But some of what I've kind of learned through this process is it kind of seems that we're shooting from the hip a little bit, and some of the things that we're trying to do aren't necessarily the best thing to do to resolve the problems. And in my particular case on Briarwood, we've got a ditch that runs through the front of our property that helps with drainage, I guess, throughout that area. And I'm sure y'all know there's 2 new houses that are being built just around the corner on Briarwood. And anyone that goes over there, you can see one is above the road, one is below the road. You stand on the crown of that road, and that one that flooded that we're trying to fix or that's trying to be fixed is below the road line. And it's in a hole. And if you were there before, that ditch that runs through my yard goes underneath that road and went through those 2 lots that those people bought, or that company bought or whoever did, and built this house in a bog. So the issue I have is the city's that's come in and gone through my yard with a mini excavator to kind of dig out that ditch to try to help drainage. And it's not going to help because our elevation's 5 foot higher than that lot. And I'm not an engineer either, but water don't drain up, you know. So, and it took a real, 15-minute search online to look at the elevation chart and kind of see that digging out my ditch up here is not going to help. Really, what I think is going to end up happening is just going to start holding water in my yard now, so it's going to turn my ditch into a retention pond. Again, I just want to say I appreciate the response, but I feel like we probably could use some step back and kind of make a plan a little bit better than before we just execute and make some changes, because I think it's going to cause some other problems. Because the flooding issue down there with that home, there's a house right across the street it's up on road level. It's even with that other house, it's been there for a long time, has never had any flooding issues whatsoever. And digging our ditch is not gonna fix that. So just wanna make it aware. And
I understand what you say. It was brought to my attention earlier that they were working, and you're right, they were over there trying to do something to help out, so.
Oh,
it
yeah,
may
like
not
I
have
said,
been exactly the right thing,
I appreciate the efforts, and I appreciate some foresight ahead of making some of those efforts and not necessarily shooting from the hip a little
Okay.
bit. And when everything gets settled, if the city can help us get our yard squared away, once everybody else has got their stuff squared away, because that's more important. But
Well, I promise
appreciate
you, we'll come back, but like you said, I think it would be better if we wait until it dries up a little bit,
it.
because
Yeah, no,
right
like
now
I
it
said,
seems.
there's a lot more important issues going on with a lot of other folks in the city. And if there's anything I can do to help, I'll be glad to help, and we'll get our yard squared away when we get it squared away. But just want to let y'all know.
Thank you for being easy to work with. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next, I think, Mr. Charles Perry, please come on up.
Charles Perry, 713 Norton Drive. I had a neighbor that had pictures of Satsuma in the early 50s during the 100-year flood. That water was at the level of those railroad tracks. If you live in Satsuma, you need flood insurance. That's all there is to it. 100-year floods may not make it another 100 years. We can't afford services to stay on emergency alert over matters like this. It's impossible. Hospitals can't do it, fire departments, police departments. They're not, no government agency is prepared for what happened last Friday night or any other emergency. We could dig the ditches, buy $500,000 of equipment, hire 3 more people, put them to work. But that's expensive, and we have to find a way to pay for that if we go that route. We could hire a contractor to come in and clean the ditches one time. But that water's not going anywhere. Once it reaches the level of that creek, that's it. It's gonna stay right where it's at until the creek goes down. You might be able to talk to the state of Alabama about how they release the water at the dam, but I don't know. We got so much water Friday night, I don't think we could have reacted in time. So yeah, if you live in Satsuma, get flood insurance. It's not the city's responsibility to take care of private homes. we're supposed to do that. We could put drainage in our yards that will take that water to the ditch. But like I say, once that ditch leaves that creek level, it's over with, it's staying there. And we can't stop that. I don't care how much digging or planting you do, that's something we can't stop. Now, we may be able to flow some flow. My suggestion would be get rid of that leaf truck and have people put stuff in bags, because the leaf truck can't be everywhere. If it rains and it moves those leaves into culverts under people's driveways, it's just there. If we make people put it in bags, we don't have all that loose debris flowing through these ditches. We can keep them clean.
Okay.
And they'll last a whole lot longer staying clean that way.
I certainly agree with the two things you're saying. Once we get the water to the creek, the headwater, if it's high, it's going to slow it down. And if there was some way we could keep people from clogging up the ditches and putting things in them, that would certainly help the drainage also.
Yeah, well, y'all are doing a good job. We don't have a whole lot at our disposal, but I believe we're using it wisely.
Okay.
Public
Okay.
Works guy, he's on top of things. So, thank y'all.
All right. Thank you,
I'm gonna go
Charles.
home now, I'm tired.
I know. It's nice seeing you, Charles. Thank you. Charles helped us many, many years putting these flags up along the highway for, how many years you do it for, Charles? 14 years he done that, so, and he stayed on that river bridge up there for years. Thank you, Charles. Sir, please come on up.
Yeah, my name's Matthew Taylor. I live at 313 Arrow Avenue. Again, the drainage issue over there on Pine, it goes down them concrete ditches going out towards the railroad tracks. Well, that ditch that takes it from Pine, goes to railroad tracks, it's nothing but dirt. Like, it stops up, there's nothing it can do. And then there's one portion on Pine right there, it's a short little ditch right there. It backs up every time it rains, every time. So that water hits there and it don't go nowhere, because it can't. I don't know what stops it up. I don't know if the culverts are not big enough.
Where exactly are you talking about? Now,
Pine.
I know
Run
exactly
down
where
Pine.
Pine, yeah, right, the ditch,
There's
it's
a
concrete ditch, runs all the way.
runs all the way down.
Right.
There's a little portion right there, so small
But
portion.
where,
between.
but I'm saying, what's the cross street are you talking about exactly where Pine's at?
Where Pine goes down and makes the right toward on Orchard. It goes underneath the road right there.
Where it goes under Orchard?
Yep.
That's where you're saying it's backing
Yep,
up?
right there.
Okay.
It backs up every time it rains. And like, I went home Friday, had to leave work early, my house flooded. There's water is coming from Arrow down to Pine, and it's going down that ditch, and it's going nowhere. So I backed up, the neighbors around the corner backed up. I'm $2,000 in the hole right now because I didn't have flood insurance, not in the flood zone. And also, that neighborhood we're around, half of them have concrete ditches, half of them have dirt ditches, and they're not being maintained. I've never seen somebody come over there and maintain that ditch in front of my house, neighbor's house down the road. Never in my life. And I've lived there 29, 30 years now. So, I mean, where's the issue at? Where's that water going down there if it can't go nowhere? I mean, where does it go underneath Orchard? Right
When
there.
the water goes down Orchard, it goes with the dirt portion there, which is the unopened, that dead ends into the railroad tracks. Then the water would run to the north at the track to the head of Steel Creek, where the trestle is at down there for the back track.
All right,
That's
so
where
my
it goes
second question is, I've tore out everything in my house. And it's laying out there. Nobody has bothered to pick it up. Were we delayed on something, or?
No, the knuckle boom truck runs every day, and it'll be running, probably through Saturday of this week. So, yes, does it get behind sometimes? Yes, but no, I think the guys do a pretty good job of getting the stuff off the streets.
It's laid there since last Friday. Nobody's been by to touch it. I've had to haul stuff to the dump. I can't care. I can pick up heavy carpet that's been soaked and wet. So, I mean, can I have somebody come pick this stuff up for me?
We was asked, if that's what you're asking, yes, sir, we can ask somebody to come. We'll try to get it
And then
on the
why
books
can't we
tomorrow
get,
or Thursday for you.
why can't we get concrete ditches all the way through the neighborhood? Why is half of it have concrete and half of them don't? Why
The
didn't they just
county
keep?
put that in when the subdivision was in the county years ago, the concrete ditches. You're talking about an enormous expense if we started trying to concrete all the ditches here. I don't know how we could afford to do that.
10-4.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Next person, please.
I'm Dan Bose. I live at 256 Arrow Avenue. We got flooded. This is not the first time we've ever flooded. Same neighborhood as the gentleman that was up here. Couple of questions. One question. Question number one. When we have a hurricane, governor goes through, declares a state of emergency. When that state of emergency is declared, then our insurance companies, they seem to pick up on us then. None of us have flood insurance. We're not required to have flood insurance. You know, there's a lot of older people in those neighborhoods that, you know, flooding another insurance bill, that'd break their budget, you know? Can the city, can you declare a state of emergency?
Not to my knowledge on anything like
Okay,
that.
I mean, is it something we can look into? If the governor can do it, it seems like that it can be done at the community level too. You know, that might help with the insurance. It's just an idea, but it's something to look into. It's something that we can do on this end of it, at this level, to find out what can we do to help with the insurance cost of this, because, you know, just like this guy, he's got a couple of $1,000s worth of flooring sitting out in front of his house. Who's gonna pay for that? You know, his insurance company, it's coming out of his pocket, it's coming out of my pocket too. What he's talking about with those ditches, there's a ditch that runs from Woodland, and you and I have discussed it before. We went over there and walked it. There's a ditch that runs from Woodland over to Arrow Avenue. That runs behind, I think, in the little cul-de-sac there, I believe there's 5 or 6 houses there. There's a couple of big pieces of property on the other side of that ditch. That ditch has not been maintained, I know, since 2019, because I retired and moved back here in 2019, and that ditch was overgrown then, it's overgrown now. I understand that there has to be a budget for that, and I understand that Satsuma being a small city, we don't have a huge budget here, but we do have able-bodied people. These are our houses. Now, I was talking to somebody about it, I don't wanna, you know, Bert and I were talking about it today, and he was telling me that for us just to go in there and clean that, or for the city to go in there and clean that behind those people's houses, since it's privately owned, it's, you know, I guess it's privately owned, I don't know who owns the ditch. Does the city own the ditch, or does the individual own the ditch? I don't know that. But he was saying that there has to be a letter from each homeowner stating that the city can be on their property, and it has to be notarized as,
If we're on
Is that how it
anybody's
works?
property, we try to get a notarized
write
and
an
get
easement.
something signed. Yes. Allowing us to go in areas where ditches are at, when we have to put our equipment on the personal property.
okay, that'll move that water off that property though. You know, it'll keep us from flooding over there again. And I can't account for anything that's going on the other end of Orchard. You know, I don't know what that situation is. I know what my situation is I think that's Apache back in there is what that's called, Arrowhead Estates or Indian Estates, something like that. I know what our situation is back there. And the water, just like this young man was saying, the water is not flowing. You know, I understand that that's not y'all's fault, but as a community, and when I say a community, I mean all of us, as a community, are we smart enough to get together and figure this out and put a little bit of sweat equity into it and get some of these things taken care of, because before they can get this fixed, this is subject to happen to us again.
Okay.
And again, we're gonna be pulling all the flooring out of our houses, and everything else. If we band together, and look, guys, I'll lead the charge. I don't have any problem with that, okay? If we band together, maybe some of these ditches, just like the lady was saying, running on the other side of Satsuma Oaks, okay, the ditches, it's overgrown. Let's get in there and clean it out. Let's do it as a community until they can figure out what they gotta do on their end. We can get together as a community and get some of these things taken care of so that we don't have this problem again. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Or but you're specifically, are you requesting us to try to clean the ditch that runs from Arrow
I'll take
back
care of
over
that
to
ditch. I'm gonna
Woodland?
talk to all the I'd love for you guys to bring a piece of equipment in. I'll find the back, the strong backs to move the debris. You just bring in a piece of equipment and an operator.
Okay.
Let's get that part taken care of. All those culverts that they were talking about,
Okay.
there's old school ways of doing that, you guys. We don't have to rent a big piece of equipment, There's old school ways of getting all those culverts cleaned back out again. And I think a lot of it, that's what happens. Just like everybody was saying, things go into those ditches that we don't even know about, and then we get this 100-year rain and everybody's house gets flooded, Those are the things that we got to maintain. And yes, as homeowners, those are our responsibilities. I'm responsible for maintaining the culvert in front of my house. I get that. But, the ditches and things of this nature, that's us collectively.
Thanks for
Can you
coming up
look into
tonight.
the whole state of emergency thing? I think that there's a way to do it, okay? I don't know how it's done, but I think that there's a way to do it. We can get a state of emergency for this geographical area. We can get it, whatever that, somebody
Okay.
hit the gavel and say that this is what's going on here. And then our insurance companies have no choice but to help us, because the insurance companies are not designed to, if they say you don't have flood insurance, well, it's on you, pals.
We have spoke with Mike Evans at EMA regarding the damage of what we encountered. So they are aware, but I am not familiar with us ever declaring a state of emergency just for our city here. But it's been done at a lot higher level than what we are. But
What would you call it? It's a
Okay.
state of emergency.
All right.
You have people bleeding money right now.
we will look into that, okay? All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Dan. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Okay, if we can move it on up now, we're gonna be here all night if we continue to sometimes saying the same thing. I know there are a couple people wanting to come up tonight that spoke last night. Is there anyone else that would like to come before the council now? Okay, if there are no one, okay, or, all right, both of y'all gonna have to state your name and your address, although I think most people know y'all, but go ahead.
Mike Horso, 5467 Orchard Street.
The Morgan Granger, 5478 Orchard, 5472. 71,
Yeah.
remind me.
Hey, as we spoke yesterday afternoon, we want to know, are we going to be able to meet with the engineers about our problem? Everybody knows our problem in Orchard, as far as doing something with the drain pipe. The one at Bayou is 4 foot higher than the one that goes under the track over to 7th. So everybody, like we talked about, everybody's flooded and still no water at Bayou. That pipe is 4 foot higher than the one that goes under the track. Are we gonna be able to have a meeting with the engineer, and the city council as soon as possible so we can figure out how to take care of this problem?
We'd like everybody at the city council, including the mayor, the engineer, to come explain why the culvert at Bayou is 4 foot higher elevation than the culverts goes up on the railroad track. Look, we done the measurements, we know what it is. We done it, okay? There's one thing that's gotta be done for Orchard, and this is it, this is the last thing, I told Mark the same thing. It's gotta be fixed.
And then take care of it.
Because if you don't, this never stops. I'm just telling you, it never does. We walked the railroad track when I had 5 inches of water in the house. We go down to those 5-foot culverts, they're completely submerged. But you got 2 36-inch culverts, 4 foot tall, that ain't doing nothing. We walked the other side, dry as a bone. Plenty of room. If we just took that 3,000 feet of drainage on the other side of Bayou, we'd never flood. Never flood. And make it go a little further where he's talking about Cherokee. We walked down to Cherokee Park. Where the water comes out of Cherokee, it does, out of Pine, it does the right thing. It goes towards Still Creek, which all that water should go to. Plenty of room for the water Still Creek. We're locked up. There's nowhere for it to go. I'm not worried about the holding pond. You can close those valves. It doesn't matter. We flooded 8 times in 20 years, 2 times in the last 22 months. Now, I know we had a lot of rain, but we flood all the time. We're known for the flood house. Hell, we're about equipped to take care of the flood without just a couple vacuums. Now,
Yeah, that's our
the
nickname.
bottom line is, I don't live there anymore. I haven't lived there in a long time. The other day, I was climbing in at the window. I had to open the door to let them get through wastewater to get out of there and go to my house in Bonds. Just to get out of there. Open that door, that much water poured in. Look, it ain't about the flooding. I understand everybody's flooded. I've been through that many times. Let's get it fixed. It can be fixed. This problem is very fixable, very fixable. I know the money's there, should be some grants. Bayou is the lock, is bottom line, bottom line. And if it don't get fixed, then forget Orchard. Bottom line.
Yeah, and that is
Okay.
bottom line.
Okay. Right. I don't want anybody to think I'm cutting you off, but you and I and Morgan have talked
Yeah.
several times, especially in the last week or two, but you've been concerned about the culverts at Bayou for quite some time. Garrett, is there any chance we can get some elevations? Because what they're saying is they got some culverts that they're really raising questions about how the water's there, and look at how the water's flowing there.
You know,
Garrett's with Civil Southeast Engineering. They do a lot of our engineering.
when we all flood and there's no water going on the bayou, outside the track, that's the problem. And it happens all the time.
Right, well,
And we got people that live on Orchard. I'm blessed, I do have flood insurance, and I got about $100,000 worth of damage right now. But there is some people that does not have insurance. You know,
we have Garrett Jacobs over there with Civil Southeast Engineering. He's one of that works on a lot of our engineering stuff for us. We also have Jason from the estuary program that I've been explaining to them for quite some time. They've worked with other neighborhoods and cities. They work with local government here
Yeah.
regarding water, stormwater runoff, drainage problems. So we're trying to make everybody aware of it. And yes, if we were to undertake some of these things, it would be very helpful for us to have some grant money.
yeah, we don't understand how other stuff gets done, and our flooding problem has been like it's been forever. Even when the retention ponds got put in, I mean, I think it's worse now than it's ever been. And there's probably a lot of people that live close to me that will say the same thing.
Well, like I've said before, with all the ditch work has been over there, 2 retention ponds, one of them being doubled in size from the original, what we were told would work years ago. I mean, I don't think it's fair to say we've done nothing. Has it
No, I'm not
solved the
saying that.
problem?
I'm not
The
saying
answer is
that.
no.
But
Anytime we're still having homes that are flooded, we still need to work on it.
So we got pictures, photos,
Oh,
that Orchard Street is flooded, homes are flooded, and you got a third of the retention pond on Baker Road with water in it.
One more thing, Mark.
we made
Y'all can
multiple
be the
pictures, so
heroes.
they all,
We've been doing this
Right.
for 30 years now. Gene Tyndall, mayor, this mayor, that mayor, that mayor. Y'all can be the heroes here and fix this deal, and y'all really could. And if you get the grant money, it's fixable, but I'm telling you, without anything at Bayou, walk it, I'd be glad to get these engineers, because they can explain to me why a culvert's 4 foot higher than a culvert. So.
well, you
I
know
would
it's
love
not
to
fair
meet
for
with
us
those
to try to answer why somebody
guys.
put
I understand,
something in
but it will- I'll take
30
the engineer. I'd be
plus
glad
years
to.
ago.
Me
I'd be
too,
glad
I'll
to.
do anytime.
You know, we can walk
I'm
it
retired.
with them, anytime.
Yeah, you bring that up a lot. I know you're retired. Congratulations. I'm glad you made that. Mike, we'll,
So who's the engineer?
as
for
soon
the
as we
city?
get some decent weather where we can get over there, we're kind of in a bind right now. We got a lot more complaints than we can deal with, but give us a little time. Thank you again, man. Okay, ma'am, come on up. It's your turn. Have.
Mr. Moore. I'm Danielle Stewart. I'm at 536 North Oak Drive in Satsuma Oaks. I've lived there for about 17 years, and I am not here to minimize anybody's flooding or anything all over the city. But I just wanted to ask if y'all could, we've been kind of quiet on the west side of the interstate. Like, we kind of was quiet. We didn't really
Okay.
do much. We just kind of sat there, and then we've been having a lot of growth and abundant growth, and I think that it's harming a lot of things, our wetlands and different things, and our drainage.
What was your address again, ma'am?
It's 536 North Oak Drive. I
Okay.
used to be the last house at the dead end, and now I have a racetrack because it was subdivided and it wasn't approved, and it was subdivided, so now I have like 6 or 8 people living past me now, which was supposed to be what I was told when I came here to 3 city meetings just to get my mail delivered, because that couldn't happen easily. I had to come just to get my mail delivered because I was on a gravel road. And it was supposed to be preserved land that wasn't supposed to be developed past whatever it's called, no man's land or whatever it was called 17 years ago. But now there's people that have built back there and have literally cleared from property line to property line. And everything in between is cleared. And we are trying to build a road all the way to the canal where there wasn't a road. So now there's sinkholes because y'all came and put a pipe there because there was a sinkhole there that came down a road that wasn't supposed to be there, because there's no foundation, because it wasn't supposed to be developed and it wasn't approved to be subdivided, but it is, and now there's houses, 4,000 square foot houses, and all the buildings that they put on the lands. And I couldn't get home. And it wasn't the first time that I couldn't even get into the subdivision to get to my house. Yes, I have to maintain my house, I have to maintain my property, I have to maintain my ditch. That's what I do by myself, because I've been a single parent the entire time I've lived here. So I don't have anybody doing that for me, I do that. But what I need to happen is I need to be able to get to my property. And it's happened multiple times, because you and I have talked about it when our kids were in high school together, before you were mayor, that I can't get into the subdivision because the water is too high. So it took me till 9:30 Friday night to get into the subdivision to get to my house. So if y'all could just maybe pay some attention after the emergency people are taken care of and everybody has their homes and they're in them, just kind of maybe go west a little bit and kind of see what's going on. Maybe y'all are unaware of some of the things that are going on. I don't know.
There has been some development on North Oak, and I'm not quite
Yeah.
sure how we can stop people from building something on their own.
Isn't it supposed to be
Property.
approved before it's subdivided and sold and all
Well,
of those things?
Some of that property back there has been air property that was sold and transferred, and it's been very difficult for us to keep up with that. But I will tell you that on the service road and getting the Go Mesa grant money that we used
Oh, yeah, it's been great.
to
Yeah.
upgrade the water and sewer and put fire hydrants over there. And we went into the North Oak, South Oak, which did not have proper base. So that took a lot more money than we were ever anticipating to redo those roads. And, because we had to start back from basically zero, so.
Yes, and I understand that, because my property actually says Regina Drive North,
Yes, ma'am.
but that's not my address, apparently. So I understand there was like a lot, like Regina Drive was supposed to go all the way through, but it didn't, for whatever reason. I don't know all the logistics. I'm not born and raised Satsuma. I'm not gonna claim to be. I was a Chickasaw person that came north to get away from everything. I lived in the Christmas subdivision. You know, my grandpa
Right.
started that. So, but
Chickasaw.
if you could just, we are thankful
Okay.
for everything, but if you wouldn't just mind checking some things, I'd appreciate it.
Well, the old right-of-way there from the Grand Bay Land Act appears to go back to at least the 1930s. And
Oh,
that's what they're accessing the road off of. So I don't know how we could have denied them the ability to get to their own property. And you're right, some of those people have cleared it from North Oak back over to the CC Trail and have taken what was woods just a few years ago, and now it's got cleared property. And you're right, the water from those cleared properties runs a whole lot faster than it did
Yes,
when it
sir.
was just woods.
Yes, sir, it does. And we
But
used to
yes,
have
ma'am.
wildlife, and we don't have any. I used to sit every afternoon and watch 8 to 10 deer come at my back door, and bears, and play, and everything, and there's nothing now because of all the growth. But if you could just check on it, I'd appreciate it.
Sure, thank you for coming up.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Moving on along tonight, It's 7:40, and it looks like we have addressed all the people that wish to come before the council, so there's one last time. If any of you'd like to state your name and that you've just had damage or something, last night there were a couple of people that just wanted to do that. Okay, if it's nothing for the city, if any. I thought you were, you was kinda hiding back there, but I knew we, okay, but I wasn't gonna make you come up.
I'm on 5463 Orchard Street. I've been down here a while, and it's nice to meet you,
Yes, ma'am.
Under these circumstances, aren't it?
No, it's not. I'm so sorry.
But, I've lived over there for quite some time. I've had my kids to graduate from Satsuma.
Yes, ma'am.
Grandkids go here and play ball and all. I lost.
Yes, ma'am.
I've been in those floods 3 times,
Yes, ma'am.
and none like this. I lost medication. I lost everything. I heard him saying half the things I lost from ground up. So I'm wondering, I understand about the covers and everything, because my covers aren't cleaned that much. Young man cleaned them one time this year, and a fox jumped out at him because he was cleaning. He said, "Ma'am, don't go in there." But he cleaned it out. But I just want to know, I understand that there is going to be something to fix these covers. But you got people like me. It's just me.
Okay.
So I need to know, maybe, you can get it for me later or whatever. Just let me know what we're going to do, and what you're going to do, and what needs to be done.
Well, I know you're good friends with Mike and Morgan. They kind of neighbors of yours. They've been around this a long time, so they can probably help you. But we, kind of like I told you last night, make notes of what
Okay,
damage
I
you
got
got. Keep your pictures. And again, I think your problem is one of those that could fall under the city or perhaps the water board. So, we've got your name and number. I would advise you, if you have any insurance, notify your insurance company.
I do have it.
And if, whatever they tell you, then you let us know. And
Okay, there was a
I'm
social
sure
worker
there's gonna be
sitting-
several of you that we have to work with over some time to see what we can do. I'm sorry it happened over there. I promise you, I wish that there was something we could do or
Oh, it's
prevent
something.
it,
We're going to
but-
get this done. It's something going to be done both ways.
Right.
I
Okay.
understand. I believe in that. So
Okay.
it's going to work for us.
Well, thank you
Be
for being
blessed
so
and thank
nice.
you all.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I think I missed the sign-in sheet, but I'm Dion Thomas. I live at 380 Braxton Drive in Satsuma in the Riverburg subdivision. And since I moved there in 2010, my road's always flooded. So I know we have a ditch behind my home. My neighbor's yard, his car that was in the road, it actually flooded out. But his car got flooded. And our road always floods. Even if we have a hard rain, it floods, on Braxton Drive. And it was one of the roads that was closed.
Okay.
So that's an ongoing thing. Not just like the bad rain that we had, but at any given time. And we have to park up the street like a Marlow Drive to get to our homes on Braxton Drive. And we have an elderly couple just moved there maybe a year ago, and they in a cul-de-sac of Braxton Drive. And their backyard was flooded. So they had issues as well.
You're right, Braxton did have a lot of water, and that kind of starts the headwater that goes behind the subdivision there beside the school and on by the school, and ultimately feeds down to U Street, Timberland U Street, into Orchard where the other problems are. So yes, we have worked on that, and hopefully we can do something. I mean, we do have Marlow is on the next pay-as-you-go. That should be starting soon. But there needs to be drainage work, especially toward the back of the cul-de-sac. So, yes, ma'am. Thank you for bringing it up. Well, I think that's going to conclude for the second night in a row our discussion of the rainfall that night and the flooding. If anybody has anything that hasn't been said, let us know. If not, we're going to go into regular order of business. Y'all are welcome to stay. But if I was y'all, I'd leave instead of sitting and listening to the boring side of the government, us paying the bills, and how we're going to address other things. But you're welcome, all of you, to stay, and I'm sorry for any of you that had problems. Council, y'all have anything before they leave?
No. No, sir.
No.
Moving on to number 8 on our agenda tonight, we'll go into reports and announcements from the mayor and council. I will start off with the reports from the mayor's office. Each of the council members should have received and or had in front of their packet of information tonight all the reports from the various departments. Letting y'all know that we have unfortunately had several of our longtime citizens pass away since our last council meeting. So Miss Joanne Monk, who was the wife of former council member Pratt Monk, Mr. Johnny Harbin, longtime resident of Satsuma, Mr. Maurice Hildebrand, Randy Vaughn, Miss Walterine Fagan. So if you see any of their family members, please give the condolences. The boating course that we've been talking about, we try to promote, especially for our young people, was held on the 18th, the 17th and 18th at the community center. We had almost 50 young people attend that. I think that's something we really get our money out of. So any of you see how much boat traffic we have on these holiday weekends that are pretty, you'll know that that's something I hope we can continue to do. Our graduation was held on Friday the 22nd, 1 week before our rain, so thank goodness that went very nice, very comfortable. The event was really nice. This Saturday, June the 6th, is what we have our annual cleanup day. It'll be in the city. Of course, the trash ramp will be open. It's regular hours of operation. Here at the rear of the city hall, we will have people taking various paperwork. We got the TV, computer people coming again this year. We also have a trailer we'll have here for tire disposal. So anybody that has any of those that they're wanting to get rid of, please bring it to City Hall and be here before 12 noon. So the weather looks like it may hold off for us on Saturday. In the last couple of years, those have been very busy days. Saturday, the 6th, this coming Saturday. Yes, sir. Trash ramp is open 7 to 3, and the hours of operation up here are 8 to 12. Yes, sir. Just a quick question for the council tonight. We have the fence that's been put up that kind of protecting that ditch area that runs along the drive between Dogwood and Baldwin. He started to paint it today, and he called me, Joe did, and said that that he had some people about asking him to paint that black or put black runners, the boards, and white posts. I told him I kind of was leaning toward white. I thought the white going along with the other fence
The
would
rest
be.
of them is all white.
So that's, y'all okay with white?
I think I'll either do
All right,
Yes,
I
sir.
told him that we'd give him an answer in the morning so he could proceed with the painting, and that job will be completed. Okay, we have, the hot weather's come back, and the lodge, when it is full of people, they're having these all-day events, the weddings and the parties at night, have reported that the lodge, that the 3 air conditioning system units are not keeping up. To go back to a 4th unit, we've gotten 3 bids. Jessica, you want to give us the bids on the 3 companies we have?
Bachelor's was 14,520. I guess it's Hambry. 15,351, and Shields is 10,2, but the electrical and all of those have to be done. The electrical is going to add about 1,500 to all of them. It has to be 3-phase, ran back over.
So that would make still Shields the cheapest at roughly $12,000. So I've asked the pleasure of the council what their thoughts are on us doing that, and if we can, if y'all can give me me an answer tonight, we'll get started. If y'all wish to move that to a workshop item for what I'm gonna ask y'all later on that we have next week, we can do that, but it's,
I think as much, as often as that place is rented out, I've been in there when it was hotter than Hades, and it's not very comfortable to do that, so I would think that might be my suggestion.
How long have we had those three that's been handling that? I mean, when did that one go down? I know we,
It's been, so the electrical was rerouted, and the
Right.
kitchen was redone,
right,
and probably since then, they've been struggling to keep up.
So, I guess, are they undersized?
no, the fourth one was out. You know, we've just been running on three.
I guess that's what I'm getting at, with just the three.
yes,
Are those undersized if you're just gonna run three?
Yeah, to keep up. But he's saying another one, I assume, is the same size?
it'd be, we'll have 4 or 5 ton units.
Yeah,
on the
with,
system,
with four.
each corner of the building.
I mean, we're gonna be in a bind if one of those three goes out. I
That's
mean,
the problem.
if we're having trouble now, so, I mean,
All right, is that
I'm
okay
ready
with
to go
council?
ahead and do it.
All right, just wanted to make sure y'all were all on board. Bert, you didn't say anything, you okay?
I'm
with it?
game. Yes, sir, go ahead. I agree.
Okay. We have some appointments, some board appointments that are coming up. We have several things we'd like to discuss in a workshop. Have y'all had a chance to look at your calendar and see that next week, June the 7th, is a week from tonight, we have got, we could do a workshop that night, but I will bring to your attention now, 2 weeks from today is the election. And, you know, a lot of our city employees work the election to help out now. So before you commit, just be advised that we may, and this is up to y'all, move the council meeting from the 16th to the 23rd, so we wouldn't be on top of an election here, because it's just kind of a busy day around here to try to have a council meeting at the end of the election going on too. So if we got our meeting tonight, we could set a workshop for next Tuesday night. We wouldn't have anything on the 16th other than election day here in the city. We could meet the 23rd. And that would give us the following week with no meetings leading into July the 4th. So, I mean, of course, we got also the cleanup day is this Saturday, the 5th. We have the We Love Satsuma Day also coming up, which will be the 28th. So, pretty full calendar coming up this month. Just, what's,
I agree with the 16th and moving the
Okay.
council meeting day.
what about the workshop?
I can do the 9th, but I'll have to leave around 6:45.
We usually start at 5:30. That would
Yeah.
give us an hour and 15 minutes.
Is that next Tuesday?
That's next
Yeah.
Tuesday. Are you booked on something?
No, I'll be good with that, since Jake's gotta
y'all?
leave
Good,
at
sir.
6:45.
Okay. All right, well, let's schedule a workshop, 5:30 PM, Tuesday, June the 9th. We will discuss board appointments, other city business, and I'm not sure what else we'll have. We got many topics. We could spend the whole night. We could spend the whole night, a bunch of them on nothing but drainage, so I'm sure that some of those things will come up. We do have the ribbon cutting for the Satsuma House of Pizza, which is next Thursday, the 11th, at 11 a.m. So y'all try to put that on your calendars to be here,
What time?
11 a.m. You should be able to remember that, 11th at
11 on the
11.
11th.
That's right. I did want to, like I said, introduce Garrett over here. I didn't see, I guess Jason left. having them listen in some of the comments on people talking about the drainage and culverts and all, and also Jason was with the estuary program. So trying to get them to look at some of these things and any suggestions they may have, not only lowering culverts and doing that, but also water restoration programs or something like that, which I feel like is gonna have to be included in any long-term thing that's going to have significant impact on the drainage. So, Gary, thank you for coming out here. I would like to get with you where we can, I know you've been working in the bonds area, getting started on some of that, and, but we really didn't have many people from bonds tonight, which is kind of shocking, but, those culverts over on the Orchard Street area and going back over to Seventh and also under Bayou, I guess we need to do some figuring out how some of those got in and if we can lower or, maybe replace some of those, okay? All right, thank you for coming tonight, so I don't see any reason for you to stay a whole lot longer if you wanna go ahead and go, okay? If any of you have anything, we're gonna try to schedule a department head meeting next week, and also, that's one of the main topics is storm and hurricane preparation to get ready for the upcoming hurricane season. I think I've covered everything. Is there any questions from the council?
We'll have on Tuesday, the 23rd will be our next council meeting.
I guess we gotta make a motion. I'm glad you brought that back up for us to go ahead and schedule a workshop for next Tuesday night. We'll make that one motion and move the next council meeting to the 23rd in a second motion. So can I get a motion to schedule a workshop for 5:30 PM next Monday night?
Make a motion to schedule workshop for 5:30 next Tuesday night.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Taylor, seconded by Ms. Presnall, scheduling a workshop 5:30 PM next Tuesday night, which would be the 9th, for the said reasons. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
We've also are entertaining a motion due to the election runoff being scheduled on June the 16th, our next council meeting, to move that to June the 23rd, so there won't be a conflict. Can I get a motion?
Make a motion to move our June 16th meeting to June 23rd.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. O'Rear, seconded by Mr. Taylor, moving the next council meeting from the 16th to June 23rd due to a scheduling election conflict. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motions both passed. We'll move into our,
Mr. Mayor, did y'all need to vote on that air condition, or is it in the budget already?
it's budgeted item
Was it already budgeted item for that air condition?
for under building maintenance. I think we got money in there for that,
I
don't we?
mean, it's just maintenance on a building unless
Okay.
you want them just to vote on it.
No, if y'all have it in the budget, you're fine.
It'll be on the bills.
Mm.
Put in the bills.
It's been discussed with the council, so I don't think there'll be any questions. So, Mr. Little, we're going into, from
Yeah, Mayor, you
public
mentioned,
services.
trash day already, and I just got normal
Okay.
stuff. I'm gonna pass my time. I'm good.
Moving on from Mr. Little to Mr. O'Rear.
In the seniors department, we made 38 trips, with 26 of those being medical. And we delivered 780 meals, to 39 clients. And it's getting budget season, so department heads be working on what you got coming up for next year. That's all I got.
Okay. Mr. Skelton is out tonight. Just for the record, we will go ahead and enter the police and fire reports. The fire monthly report had a total of 59 calls they responded to, which was 37 medical emergency calls, 8 public service, 12 false alarms, 1 rescue incident, 1 law enforcement incident. The police department had calls for service 543, had various arrests, tickets, warning. Our calls for service the past month was 584, and calls for service last year on this month was 567. So we can enter both of those into the minutes for the record. As I said, Mr. Skelton is out, so we'll move next to Parks and Recreation. Ms. Presnell.
Well, I agree with my colleague down there on the end. We've had a pretty long meeting, and I'll just say that the Public Works and the Parks and Recreation Sanitation has been doing their normal good job, and they have been very, very busy. So thank y'all for the time and effort you put into doing what you do. And that's all I've got.
Thank you, Ms. Presnell. Moving to Mr. Taylor, Public Works.
Sir, I really ain't got nothing to say. Miss Shirley just got me. I'll tell you what, we were out last Friday night, and I talked to the mayor, and it was 11, 12 o'clock before we got home, and I greatly appreciate everyone that was out getting after it, because it wasn't just walking down roads. I said we were waist deep in ditches, pulling out, floating garbage cans and anything we could find, and it was a large effort and exhausting time for all of us, and I appreciate every one of you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. We'll move to number 9, items for discussion and/or consideration. First thing we have tonight is payment of the bills.
Make a motion to pay our bills in the amount of $77,361.07.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. O'Rear, seconded by Mr. Taylor, that we pay our bills in the amount of $77,361.07. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Let it show that passed unanimous. Moving to B. These are the B and C, the storage buildings at Wright and Lyons Park. Jessica, do you have the quotes, discussion and consideration received for storage building and roof at Lyons Park?
Yes.
Okay, what have you got there?
I think Sun Builders was 7,000. Joe Tarver was 4,900. And Moses and Son was 76.95.
That's for both of them?
No, that's just I think that we're only talking about B, roof at Lyons Park, right?
Okay.
What's the pleasure of the council on that?
I make the motion to accept the lowest bid of, I believe, Mr. Tarver, 4,900 and something. Take care of that roof.
Have a
Second.
motion made by Mr. Little. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Presnall to proceed with the roof repair at Lyons Park to low bidder Joe Tarver, $4,900. Is that correct amount? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. We also have a storage building for the same thing, it's leaking at Wright Park. This is C, discussion and consideration of quotes received for the storage building for the roof at Wright Park. Do we have bids on that? Can you please read the bids of the people you have?
Joe Tarver was 12,580, and Moses and Son Construction was 58.75.
So the low bid on that one will be $58.75.
Was that both the same scope of work?
That's an awful lot of difference.
Sure is.
So I know Joe Garver was going to, take away the flat part of the roof and just
Yeah,
put it back.
Slope it.
it looks like what the
Because
big
that's what's
difference
leaving
is.
the flat part where the old fans are.
Right.
Remove upper roof and reframe to match the lower roof line.
Well, I mean, have we looked at that? Is that what needs to be done, or is it just the roof, or?
No, all of it.
Is that
That's what I'm talking about.
That's where it's mainly leaking, but the rest of the roof is shot. The roof shot, there's shingles missing.
Is that the one with the bathrooms?
the old bathrooms?
The old bathrooms, yeah. Yeah, it's not good, in bad shape.
So,
I guess your question was, do we need to redo that whole, like, the
well,
roof line?
I assume it does, but I don't know why we didn't get a quote from, you know, that from the other quote.
I'm talking about the storage building. If you're talking about the bathroom, that's a different.
Right, they're talking about the bathrooms.
The old bathrooms.
What now?
No, that's the lines. That's the-
Lines is the old
I'm
bathrooms.
sorry, we're at Wright Park.
Right Park and the storage building roof.
Yes.
The one where we put all the parks equipment.
So even if you do away with the fans, you're still gonna have to rebuild all of that. So instead of making it flat, you might as well put a steeple. So that's what he's saying.
Yeah, what Mr. Little's saying is they didn't bid the same project, I don't think. Ain't that what you're kind of getting to?
That's what I'm getting at. I don't think that was maybe the other.
If you just reshingle it, it's still gonna leak there.
Well, what he's saying though is we need to do apples to apples on this and give both of them an opportunity to, quote the same scope.
We'll move this to the workshop, and
Let's
we'll,
do that
we'll
on
move,
that
go
one.
forward
I agree.
with Lions Park, and then we'll come back and regroup on this one, okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Table
we'll
that.
see. All right, we're tabling on a motion made by Mr. Little and seconded by who?
Second.
By Mr. O'Rear to table. C. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on now to D, discussion and consideration of setting a public hearing for petition for annexation of property located on Willie Crook Avenue. Please give us any information that the council may have or need on this.
Me, Mayor?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I mean, just for our record, we need to state who the applicant is and what the, do y'all have any questions, or y'all just want to go ahead and post the property and ask the questions at a later time? We can.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and post it. They
On a
can-
motion made
if
by
they
Mr.
ask.
Little, we'll go ahead and set a public hearing. I guess he's going to do it for 6:15 on the 23rd before the next meeting.
That'll work.
All right. Sure, if you make it quick, but just because we're running so late. But go ahead. Right. Right, I'm sorry that train was coming by blowing the whole time you were trying to talk, but I think
If you
you're
don't mind,
asking-
come up here to the,
wanted
so we
make
can hear
sure-
you,
Yeah,
up to the
please.
mic, please, ma'am.
Yeah,
Big
yes,
area.
yes,
Okay.
just past, kind of behind the stadium
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah,
Okay,
all of this.
hey, come, yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay, so
You want to make sure that if there's anything done, that it doesn't impact
Or
your
down
property
here.
with
well,
water.
certainly, which it is currently, because like the clarinet and there's creatures that live there like snakes, and flooding is already in our yard, which we discussed
Yes, ma'am, we
previously,
have.
nothing was
Yes, ma'am.
done, so, yeah, I'm very concerned about that area, so wanted to see if I could reach out to anyone to get more intimate answers.
If they go to develop the property, they have to put a plan in. Any plan that was brought up here would have to include some drainage on what they would do with the water,
Okay?
okay? If it gets to that point where they're going to do any development, we will make sure that you are made aware of it, so you can be here to see or ask the questions.
Okay.
But I believe that's when you would need to do it, because them over there and just cutting some trees, a limited amount like they've done, I don't really know how we can stop them, because they're not hurting anybody else or the adjoining at this point.
I see, so currently they don't have a plan to build anything?
They have not presented
They
one
have
to
not
us.
presented,
No,
okay.
ma'am.
Thank
Okay?
you, appreciate
Sure, no problem. Okay. On the motion that was made by Mr. Little, who was it seconded by? To post a public hearing for the,
Second.
seconded by Mr. O'Rear, set a public hearing for 6:15 on the 23rd, which will be the next council meeting. And I will say, make the appropriate notifications of adjoining landowner and George, make sure that we post that the property's up for annexation so everybody can see it, please. Probably need to do it on both roads, might get 2 signs, because you know the one on Third Street will get a lot more attention than the one going on down Willie Crook. Third Street runs behind the stadium right here, Willie Crook over here.
But is that part gonna be annexed, or is it?
I don't think it is,
on
but I
over?
think it would be seen there.
Okay.
So, you understand what I'm saying? It's, we don't want those people that's gonna be impacted to say they didn't know about it. Moving on from D to E, discussion of rescheduling the council meeting, that was already handled. F, discussion and consideration of transferring Abigail Waller from the Satsuma Water Board to the city of Satsuma. She's an OA1 there, she'd be moving over here to an OA1 position. Y'all know that the job would be quartered basically where it would be Public Works, Parks, and City Hall, because our ultimate goal, replacing Sandra, who's retiring. Are we having that, do we have to move that? We were gonna have her here for the next meeting too, because of her retirement date being the last day of this month. If we do, we gotta adjust that.
On
Sandra,
Yeah.
what, we're going to have her at the second meeting? That's that what we talked about in June? Just
Yeah.
kind of recognize her for her years of service?
Yeah, I can remember.
So we'll have to move that to the 23rd. But Abigail will be kind of filling in mainly for doing what Sandra's doing, but we also want to make sure she's cross-trained up here on requisition and can stay in the office here. Do y'all have any problems with that?
No, sir.
No.
Jake, you on the water board, you want to make the motion?
Make a motion for the transfer of Abigail Waller from Satsuma Water to the City of Satsuma. It's Office
Second.
System 1.
Second.
On a motion made by Mr. O'Rear, second by Ms. Presnall, granting the transfer of Abigail Walker from the water board to the city. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay, going to number 10, and we're almost through. We only have one, resolutions, ordinances, and other business. We only have one item, Resolution 2026-0601. That's amending the budget, which we addressed in the workshop. And y'all had all the numbers where we were just kind of making minor adjustments to keep the budget in line with our expenses.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-0601.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. O'Rear, second by Mr. Little, approving said resolution. I don't think I have to give any more details over that. I think that was clear enough, don't you, Jake, for the record? That was clear enough, I think, what I said on the resolution without having to go into further detail?
Yes, sir.
Okay, with that being said, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. I kind of had a long meeting tonight. I apologize for some of you that stayed around. Thank y'all for the ones that did. Is there any other business to come before the council prior to adjournment? Thank all of you for coming, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and second, we adjourn. Thank y'all for attending tonight.